Dear student, welcome to my YouTube channel NM Vlogs and ISC BSc Botany Study Care. So in my previous video, I already tell about the introduction and silent features of Bryophyta. So in my today class or in my today video, I am going to tell something about of occurrence of Bryophyta. So first is, what is the meaning of occurrence? Occurrence means where the Bryophyta can be developed, or in what place the Bryophyta can be developed in suitably. That is known as occurrence. So study all about that things that is completely or that is commonly known as or gatheredly known as occurrence. So in occurrence, first is the Bryophyta can be developed in terrestrial region. Terrestrial region means in land side or in land plant. The Bryophyta can be developed in land. That is known as terrestrial region or land region. Okay. They also may be seen in damp soil and or moist soil. Okay. Damp means watery soil. The soil is became watered. That is known as damp soil. And also the moist soil. Or you have also known that where the Bryophyta can be developed. They may be developed in floor or on the trunk, hills, and also the ponds. In that place, the Bryophyta can be developed. Mainly the Bryophyta developed or increased its number in rainy season, that is in aquatic medium. Okay, rainy season means water are found in our surrounds. So the Bryophyta increased its number in vectorly in rainy season. So this is all about of occurrence. So look at the notes. So first is Bryophytes are mostly developed in terrestrial region and also grown in moist and shady soil. Shady means where shade can be present. That means chaya. Okay. Then they may be looked on the hills or they may be found. Here we have just write found. Okay. They may be found on the hills, plants, trunk. Plants trunk means also you have noted that what is trunks, mats or carpets, rocks, wall, etc. They mostly they have found in rainy season. I already tell about this. Then they are found all sides of the walls, means also all corner of the walls. Where you have go or where you have gone, then you have also found they have really found the Bryophytes. So the point is they are found all sides of the walls. Then the second subtitle is shape and size. Actually, what is the structure of or what is the shape and size of Bryophytes? So mostly the Bryophytes can be found in 20 to 24 inches. The size is or they have the height is actually 20 to 24 inches. You also know that Bryophytes are not a vascular plant because of here xylem and phloem is totally absent. So the Bryophytes can be found in 20 to 24 inches. And in South Asia, the Bryophytes can be found in 24 inches. Okay, this is all about of shape and size. So look at the notes, shape and size. They have found 20 to 24 inches. Okay, 20 to 24 inches. And in South Asia, they are found in 24 inches. This is all about of shape and size of what? Bryophytes, that is a archegoniads. Okay. Then come to the gametophytic plant body of bryophytes. So first is the plant body of bryophytes is long and green. The structure of bryophytes is almost same in algae. Okay. Chlorophyta, you have know that in your plus 2 level. Algae is various types. There may be chlorophyta, rhodophyta, xanthophyta, then also cyanobacteria. So various colors of or various species or family of algae are present. So in case of chlorophyta, the green algae are present. So in the bryophytes is almost equal in chlorophyta types of algae, but bryophyta and chlorophyta algae are not equal, but their function is almost equal. Okay. In case of Bryophyta, we have seen haploid types of gametophytes, that is haploid types of gametophytes, and they have differentiated into axis, rhizoids and leaves. They haven't differentiated into root, stem and leaves. The life cycle of Bryophyta is dominant types of life cycle or the specific types of life cycle. The bryophytes can be reproduced in both vegetative and sexual reproduction. This is all about of gametophytic plant body of Bryophyta or bryophytes. Okay. Now look at this note. Gametophytic types of plant body in case of what? Bryophyta. Okay. They are long-lived green types of lower plants. Then second is they are produced haploid gametophytes. They are differentiated into rhizoids, axis and leaves. They are not differentiated into roots, stems and leaves. So they have contain dominant types of life cycle or specific types of life cycle. They are reproduced in both vegetative and sexual reproduction. This is all about of gametophytic types of plant body in case of Bryophyta. Okay. Then come to the sexual reproduction of Bryophyta. So the first point is the gametes in the gametophytes can be produced haploid types of gamete in the sex organ of the Bryophyta. Then the two types of sex organ can be present in case of Bryophyta. Sexual reproduction means obviously sex are present. You also know that sex is two types. First is male sex and another is female sex. So the male sex organ is known as antheridium. And here the antherozoid can be produced. That is the biflagellated in structure. Biflagellated means here two flagella are present. Then a female sex organ is known as archegonium, which is basal types of structure or flat structure, and they have contain a neck in the upper side. Okay. Then the sexual reproduction means obviously the zygote can be produced. You also know that in zoology. So and you have also know that male sex organ can be traveled or locomotion. In case of Bryophyta, the male sex organ can be contain two flagella. Obviously flagella is the locomotive organ. Locomotion means वो चल सकते हैं. Okay. ट्रैवल कर सकती है और कर सकता है because of this is the male sex organ. So through the flagella the male sex organ can be moving or go into the female sex organ, that is archegonium. So in water the male sex organ antheridium produce antherozoids and the anthrozoids can be go to the archegonium, or the anthrozoid comes contact to the archegonium. Then the haploid anthrozoids enter into the neck of the archegonium, come up to the venter of the archegonium. Then the haploid anthridium contact to the haploid oogonium. Here fuses occur and they have producing diploid zygotes. So diploid zygote, that means here mitotic division can be produced. Okay, look at this. What happened here? Suppose this is the haploid types of anthrozoids. They come contact to the haploid types of oogonium. Then they have produced diploid types of zygotes. Okay, this is the male sex organ, this is the female sex organ, and this is the diploid zygote. You also know that when two sexes are contact to each other, then the zygote can be produced. This is the zygote. This is the diploid. Here 2N is present. That means this is the diploid types of sex organ. This longer process is known as fertilization, or these types of fusion is known as fertilization. Okay. Then these types of diploid zygote does not undergo in reduction division. Reduction means less. The diploid zygotes does not undergo in the reduction division. They undergo in mitotic division and form multicellular embryo of the sporophyte. This is all about of sexual reproduction of Bryophyta. Look at these notes. Sexual reproduction. So the first point is the gametophyte produced haploid gametes in the sex organ. The male sex organ is known as anthridium, and here the anthridium produced biflagellate anthrozoids. The female sex organ is called archegonium, and the archegonium is flask-shaped structure. The archegonium contains leg in her upper region. In the water medium, the anthrozoids comes in contact with archegonium. Then the anthrozoids enter into the neck of archegonium up to the venters. Here the haploid anthrozoids and haploid oogonium attached to form diploid zygotes, that is 2N. Here fusion occurred. This types of fusion is known as fertilization. The diploid zygote does not undergo reduction division, but they divides in mitotically division to form multicellular embryo of the sporophyte. This is all about of sexual reproduction. This is the note of sexual reproduction of Bryophyta. Okay, look at this note clearly. Then come to the another subtitle, the sporophytic plant body in Bryophyta. Then the first point is the sporophyte, or the spores are non-living in nature and they have attached in the gametophyte. The sporophytes can be helped in photosynthetic in the gametophytes. That means you have also known that photosynthesis, because of bryophytes are green, that means chlorophyte is present, then they should have occurred to photosynthesis to form the carbohydrate types of food. And you also know that when the zygotes can be produced, when the sexual reproduction can be occurred, then the zygote can be produced. The zygotes are undergo to the mitotic division to form multicellular embryo of the sporophyte. This is all about of the sporophytic plant body. in case of Bryophyta. Then look at this node, the sporophytic plant body of Bryophyta. These are non-living attached with the gametophyte in soil. Okay. They should have helped in photosynthetic gametophyte. The zygotes are divided in mitotically to form multicellular embryo of the sporophyte. This is the note of, or this is all about of the sporophytic plant body of Bryophyta. Look at this note clearly. Okay. Then some example of Bryophyta. These are Hepaticae. Hepaticae is the liver rods. Then Anthocerotae, horn nodes. Then Muci, that is mosses. I detailedly say about these types of Bryophytes in my previous video. Okay, these are the example of Bryophyta. Then the last one is life cycle. So in life cycle, the first point is the gametophytes of Bryophytes are, or the gametophytes of Bryophyta are alternate with the sporophyte, and the sporophyte is known, or the sporophyte is not independent in nature. They always, or they completely depend, or they completely or partially depend on the gametophyte. So the life cycle of Bryophyta is haplodiplotypes of life cycle. Okay, you also know about that. The life cycle of Bryophyta is haplodiplotic types of life cycle. Why haplodiplotic types of life cycle? Then you have clearly understand. The haplodiplotic type of life cycle mostly found in case of mosses. Mosses. This is also the example of Bryophytes. Okay. Then look at this node, that is life cycle. So the first point is the gametophytes are always alternate with the sporophyte. The sporophyte not independent in nature. The sporophyte completely or partially depend with the gametophyte. So the life cycle of the Bryophytes is haplodiplotic types of life cycle. Haplodiplotic types of life cycle. And these types of life cycle mostly found in case of mosses. This is also the Bryophytes. Okay, this is all about of life cycle of Bryophytes. So now look at this diagram. First is started here, gametophyte. Okay, so the gametophyte is two types. I already said that, male and female, that is Anthradia and Archegonia. Then the Anthradia and the Archegonia. In Anthradia the spore are produced, and in Archegonia the egg are produced. Then the sperms and egg are attached to each other to form zygote. Okay. Then the zygote, in mitotical division, the zygote produced embryo of the sporophyte. Then the sporophyte undergo to the sporogonium. Then the division occurs. Then the sporogonium forms spores, and the spores attached with the gametophyte, that is the haplodiplotic types of life cycle. This is the life cycle of Bryophytes. This is the life cycle of Bryophytes. You understand this diagram clearly, because of this is very important for our exam. Actually, in long question, the diagram is mostly important. So you have not be forget to make the diagram. This diagram is very important for the long question. When you have faced the life cycle of any types, that may be Bryophytes, Pteridophyte, algae, various types of life cycle are present. So you should have make this diagram, because of this diagram is very important. So this is all about of life cycle of Bryophytes. Okay. Look this diagram clearly. This is the life cycle of bryophytes. So student, this is all about the general characteristics of bryophytes.